Now, again, there are these moments where things are just frankly contradictory, like in the ACT. There's a whole bunch of new laws that mean that drug possession has been effectively decriminalised, meaning that if the personal user wants to use it, fine, fair enough. However, if you want to light a cigarette, which is a legal product, terrible. It must stop. Of course, the heroin injecting centres in Sydney and Melbourne, if you want to shoot up, OK, this is the special facility for you, but don't you dare light a cigarette. Again, the same logic, right? The same people who say, you know what, let's decriminalise marijuana, but legal cigarettes, you get the logic, right? Well, here's another version of it which is playing out today. Australia has more people than ever before, with 25 million people, and the expectation is by 2060 it'll be the best part of 40 million people. And as you know, an awful lot of that is happening as we speak. With the best part of 900,000 people that will be brought into the country in the next 2 years, 1.4 million over the next couple of years after that. Yet the government today turned around and announced that they are proudly announcing that they won't be building infrastructure to deal with the current population, let alone the future one. Now, their claim is that there's a lot of cost blowouts, and they're 100% correct. And also we have a scenario where state governments have just announced big projects and federal governments end up funding them because they don't want to end up dealing with the politics of being the people who will deny the state government their dream project. But if more people are coming to the country and we need to build the infrastructure for the people that are here already now, could somebody please explain to me how today was a great day for infrastructure in Australia? Now, apparently, you're not going to see money saved here. It's just going to be the number of projects they're planning to spend the money on being cut by about 50. Now, what's going to be fascinating to watch is that all the state governments are going off like two bob watches because, remember, they expect the federal government to pay 50-50. But will they be angry this time next week? Or because it's all a Team Red thing, will they just be angry today and not bring it up again tomorrow? We'll, of course, report back to you on Sunday, but here's today.
The infrastructure cuts announced this morning by the Federal Infrastructure Minister are a body blow to Queensland.
Every dollar that is currently allocated to those projects must stay in Victoria.
State government's deeply disappointed with the fact that that the federal government will be withdrawing.
The minister said that the Commonwealth would back projects that are contracted. We expect her and her government to stick to its word.
Now, a ray of sunshine, not in the shape of the girl, as of course the song oh so beautifully says, but in the shape of jobs. Got some news today that the unemployment rate remains steady, but more importantly, more people are starting to get jobs. It's not a huge number, but still, I'll take more than less. Full-time workers up 17,000, part-time workers up 37,000. Presumably, the closer we get to Christmas, the part-time workers start to go up. That's all good. And that, of course, all meant some peacocking from Grim Jim today in Question Time. What was it he said about the previous government, that they were there for the good news but not for the bad news? There's no 13 interest rate rises, don't worry about it. But of course, cost of living, it remains front and centre for everyone. It's laser-like for us. They won't do anything on the petrol taxes. Let's do it again. 25 cents cut for 6 months equals $3 billion. They've got $20 billion currently in their surplus. They can afford it. They're just choosing not to do it. And in fact, despite the fact that the federal budget is churning along quite well, you are not. You know this because of, as we've just shown you, cost of living. And even the data is starting to show this again. Remember how I talked before about how there was basically a recession that's happening on the individual and the household basis while the country is staying above water because of the amount of stuff that we send around the world? Well, again, MacroBusiness reports on this today. Australian households remain bogged in recession. So you're going backwards, government goes forward with the extra money they won't give you any to, among other things, pay for petrol. John Roskin, big brain fellow, of course, writing in the Financial Review today, talks about how the cost of living crisis is a social crisis too, because of the pressure that exists on families. Economic growth, meaning the rising of standard of living for a clear majority of citizens, more often than not fosters greater opportunity, tolerance, diversity, social mobility, commitment to fairness and dedication to democracy. Government's going all right, you're going backwards. One of the people that he, of course, was quoting all of that, and Benjamin Freedman.